Welcome to the Intern Whisperer Live. Today we have Ashley here from She Plays. Reminder listeners, you can call us live on the air. The phone number is 407-582-2906. And you can also chat with us online through the Intern Pursuit Facebook Live chat.
All right. So people can find the Intern Whisper on our Intern Pursuit Facebook page, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on any of your fine podcast channels. iHeartRadio is our newest one that we've just joined. And you can play our game on internpursuit.games, and you can also follow us on our Facebook page for the game and on Twitter. And then you can listen to us live over here at Valencia College Radio. Yay, Valencia. Watch us live on Facebook, and it will be a recorded show, and then watch it on YouTube because you're going to be a big fan of the show. And then you can call us live here in the studio, 407-582-2906, and you can chat with us online. So we're going to see how many fans Ashley has. Johnny, go ahead.
We're getting into our first patron of the night. Starter Studio is a nonprofit organization and a pioneering hub for innovators and tech-enabled entrepreneurs that empowers and provides resources for entrepreneurs, creatives, and innovators to begin, grow, and flourish in Florida. Starter Studio fosters a community serving as a platform for ideas of the future. Welcome, Ashley.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so we're going to take a moment to share some Intern Pursuit news. So students, do you want to work with one of our great employers or with Intern Pursuit? Go to internpursuit.tech to sign up and create your profile. And employers of all types and sizes are invited to be part of our early adopter beta pilot. So use the code InternPursuitBeta to sign up for special pricing. Otherwise, you're going to pay what's listed on the website. You can also contact us at info@internpursuit.tech for more information. And if you want to play our game, go to internpursuit.games and you can check it out. And our game is going to be on Steam. So woo woo, we're really excited about that. So Ashley, we're excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome.
Love your setup.
Thank you. Thank you, Valencia College, because they're awesome here about this, letting us come in here and do this. So our show is all about business and the future of. What is the future of your industries? What do the future of job opportunities look like? And what do we think it's going to look like 10, 20 years out from now? But so our people, our followers, our listeners can know more about you. There you are up on that big screen on the live Facebook. Tell us what your entrepreneur story is. Is this your first company too? Because I don't think I know that story either.
It is my first company. I did work for a nonprofit, Young Life, which I think does try to hire people with the entrepreneurial spirit. You do essentially take over a county-wide organization and are in charge of many, many facets of it. So I realized coming out of that, I was really trained really well for business.
Fundraising. Young
Definitely
Life
for
is
fundraising.
It's a Christian organization that helps share Christ throughout the world. So, but you have to raise your own salary.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely have to do that. So I worked there for almost 10 years, and now I moved to Florida when I left there. Didn't really have anything set in place, just had an idea. And so, yes, this is definitely first company. Had the idea May 2018 and just kind of sat with it, and it kind of evolved from, creating a whole sports news production publication website into fantasy sports. Just realized that there were not many fantasy sports sites at all for women's leagues, and pitched it to 3 of my best friends from college. 2 wanted to be a part and help build a company from the ground up. And so we started February 2019 and just had our first year anniversary.
That's right. She had cupcakes and all kinds of good goodies for us at the office. A select group of people that were able to enjoy that. We actually had
tacos.
Lunch.
I was going to say, I was invited.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know you then, Johnny. You can be there for a year too.
Yeah.
You're invited.
So wait for the second year of the birthday party. That's for sure. So I think that was really fun that you did that. What's interesting is that you've had this 10 years of training with Young Life. And I think that having to fundraise and especially raise money for your own salary, if you can do that, then you can definitely get money for your company. So kudos to you. You had to have learned really good selling techniques, or at least how to raise money.
Well, and I think you just get comfortable with talking about money. I think money is such a taboo thing for so many people, but at the end of the day, it's just a resource. And so people have it and they want to do something with it. And so you just invite them into whatever you're doing. If you can cast that vision, then you just bring people on the team.
So tell us about She Plays. That's the company. So you had this idea. What is the idea? And I know you, but a little bit more about it, because I did not know there was a difference between, I'm going to throw this out there for our listeners, esports and fantasy sports. See, I don't play either, so did not know.
Yeah, so the whole idea behind She Plays was how to continue drawing attention to women's leagues. I'm sure everyone, whether you watch sports or not, know about the fight for equal pay across industries. But definitely with the USA soccer team that's now won 2 World Cups, their fight for equal pay has become, national news. And I remember back in 2018 trying to find a game of one of just their league games, and it was almost impossible. Like, the stream wasn't that great. It definitely wasn't on TV, and I just, they just won the World Cup. Why are they so hard to find? And so kind of out of just my own being a fan, started trying to think of how or another way to bring attention, draw eyeballs to their league, to their games, because that really is what will spend sponsors to come invest in their league, and that will actually help with the fight for equal pay. And so just by doing some research, realized there are no real fantasy sports that center around these leagues, and knowing, the NFL and the MLB would not be anywhere close to where they are today if fantasy sports hadn't just kind of ballooned in the last 5 to 10 years. So, why not bring some of that awareness and engagement to women's leagues was where it started. So we are the first U.S. website that's like a hub for fantasy sports for women's sports leagues in the country. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, excited for sure.
I think that's definitely something needed. I work at a sports bar, and we put the audio on most of the big games, and I've been there for about 6 months now. That's the first place I've ever worked that's like pretty big on the sports and putting the audio on, and they never turn on any women's sports games. Now that I think about it. So
okay.
I'm sure
now you're going to go
I'm
back
going to
and
go
change
and
that.
protest
There you
for
go.
you. I got your back.
Yeah. And make sure that you know what channels they're on so that people will also be able to appreciate that. And maybe you could say something to the women that are there in the restaurant, because maybe if they ask, if the management doesn't
right,
respect maybe you as an employee asking, but a woman asking, maybe they will.
Basketball's pretty huge. WNBA, I know that. And definitely soccer.
NCAA is also about to have March Madness is about to start for men and women, but the women's league this year has been unreal. So it's going to be a really exciting tournament. But I will say we try to do a watch party every month or every other month here in Orlando. And when the U.S. Open was going on last fall, it was Serena Williams was in the final, and it was the same day that college football started when that final was. And so we actually were at a sports bar and asked them to do the audio for tennis. Right. And it was amazing. The entire restaurant started watching the tennis and like really getting into it. Like you would hear if someone made a bad shot, to be like,
or the football.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
Yeah. Just giving them the shot.
Right.
That's really interesting. So I'm going to take a little poll in the room. Nobody knew I was going to ask this. How many of you people play fantasy sports? Anybody? Okay, Steve does. How many of you people play esports? You guess? Yeah. All right. So I can't ask you. You're all the way over there. But all right. How about you, Cher?
No, I don't.
Does your husband?
No.
Okay. Johnny?
Nope. Neither.
Yeah. So the statistics around this is just really amazing, and that was one of the things that I had pulled up. Fantasy sports, it's really about participants where they all get together and they pick their dream teams, right? Okay.
That's one way, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the way that I've understood fantasy sports to be, is like you pick, no, I want these, and then you're trying to trade your players. And these are people that or participants actually know. They're famous people, right?
Not
That
all
are-
of them, from what I think I know.
I don't know. In
As
fantasy
far as like
sport-
who you're drafting or
Yeah,
who's
who
playing
you're
the game.
drafting.
Who you're drafting, yes, they're the professional athletes.
Those are the professionals. So that's really where you're pulling these people together, and then your team is playing against somebody else's team. Okay. Just want to make sure I was actually on target with this.
But from the friends I know that play, I think, correct me, don't you have to know like the stats of the players pretty well to do good?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so this helps bring up a couple different types of games that we will have even. So stats related, yes, that's more for the season where you're drafting a roster of players, and based on how they do in a game, you get points. So points for, so there are 4 tackle football leagues for women in the country. I didn't even know that coming into this. So if they have like yards running or yards passing, they'll get points for that. Tackles or, punts, yardage for punts and stuff like that. That's where the stats come in. But then you also have bracket challenges. So like for March Madness coming up in just a couple of weeks, you have 64 teams that start out in a tournament, and you just guess who you think continues to go to the next round until you have a champion.
Okay.
So that's one type of play as well. And then the one that we just launched, actually, is our first game that went live last week, is Pick'em. And so that doesn't require stats either. It helps, always the more you know, the better shot you have. Right. The more you know, that remains. But with Pick'em, it's kind of an easy introduction for people who've never played, or people who maybe have played fantasy sports but don't know these leagues yet. They now can log in, and every day we'll have any game that's happening that day. They can come on and pick who they think the winner's going to be. So whether that's team versus team, or like in a tennis tournament, Serena versus Venus, or whoever they're playing, you go on and you pick who you think the winner's going to be. You get like weekly points on a leaderboard for the month and everything. So
You'll be able to do this with the Olympics, right?
yes, we are planning to hopefully do something for the Olympics.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exciting. You have a question?
Yeah, I was thinking, is this money based? Like, are you playing to win money?
Great question again. So, and this is something that I know on the notes about the regulation. I don't know if we want to jump into that now.
Oh, sure. It's a free-flowing conversation.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So with fantasy sports, there are legal precedents that that make sure that it's not gambling, considered gambling. And so if you want to be in every state and have people actually like internationally play, you can either have them pay an entry fee and they don't win anything of monetary value, or it's a free entry and they can win money.
Okay.
So Pick'em right now is free entry, nothing really that we're giving away. Hopefully we'll have some sponsors and some prizes that go out then. For the bracket challenges, we will have prizes, again, free to enter. You could win money. Last year we did a World Cup bracket and actually gave away $5,000 total in prizes.
Wow.
Yeah. But then for the season long, it's going to be a $5 entry fee to get to play that sport. So we'll have MPF, which is the Pro Softball League, NWSL, which is Pro Soccer team here in
I
Orlando.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
There was a pro softball league.
Yeah. It's actually got 3 national teams that'll be playing in the Olympics. They make up 3 of the teams here in the league. And then one of the tackle football leagues. So when you pay to access that lobby, if the league has partnered with us, we actually give some of that revenue to the league itself. So
Nice.
not only helping bring awareness,
Give
but
back.
really trying to bring that sustainability, a new way of providing sustainability.
So how is that regulated? Like, do you have to pay a special license or to the state, or?
Yeah, so if we did want to do,
That's like
you
a
pay
lot
to
to keep
enter
track of.
and get paid, that's where the regulations come in. And so that's where like DraftKings and FanDuel, there are different states have licenses. There are actually 9 states that you can't do it at all. And the reason we're not starting with that is 3 of those states are big for women's sports. So the state of Washington, Arizona, and Nevada, we wouldn't be allowed in if we did that model.
Wow.
But then other states have, huge licensing fees that DraftKings and FanDuel can afford because they
Right.
are huge companies.
I was watching a docuseries. I can't remember the name of it, but it was about sports gambling. and a lady who used to be she was a speaker, I guess, the host on a sports show, started a sports gambling business, and it was with all the regulations and the predictions and stuff like that. That was like a huge deal, right? Big fight going on.
Still is.
Making it legal.
Yeah,
and
sports betting, yeah.
Sports sketchy.
I think there are
how
only
much
3
money they were making
states
and
currently that you can do, and you have to be in the state to make a bet. But it's evolving. It's opening up, and that's
Right.
where actually a lot of these big, like DraftKings and FanDuel, are shifting to sportsbook, because that's where you can make a ton of money. They're already making a ton of money.
When you say you can make a ton of money, does that mean the person that's betting or on the players, or does that mean the company that's in charge of, like,
Both.
let's clarify
Yeah.
who is you.
Yeah, company for sure gets to take more of the, like, on sports betting it's called like a rake. You get a percentage of the entry fee, and people are betting on all sorts of stuff. So it's not like fantasy sports. You have to have at least 2 games that are happening with 3 players from each team. There's like certain regulations. Sports betting, you could say, who's going to have the most points at the end of the first quarter?
right.
It's got no like skill associated with it. It's just, I'm picking this and here's my money.
And like the prediction polls and all the websites and stuff. Is that legal?
It is in certain
regulated,
states.
yeah.
Yeah, heavily
Okay.
regulated, but opening up more and more. And I mean, I think it's really exciting. I think it's really fun, and something that's not been brought to women's leagues either, because you can play fantasy sports, set your lineup, go watch the games, and that's really it. But with different kinds of sports betting, you can be in the game and still have games to play, if that makes so. Like, you're watching a game, and before halftime, you can still be making bets.
Oh, got it. Yes.
Yeah,
And
so it's-
switch up your bet and all
The
that.
engagement is constant almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would I like gymnastics? Would gymnastics be a sport that is
You totally could put it on there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, college and they
Olympics?
have Olympics for sure. They have, I don't know about the sports betting with the Olympics. I'm sure it is out
No.
there, but I think that's part of that.
Yeah, I don't think
that's
that
the
they're
underground
controversial.
black
yeah.
websites.
yeah, I think they get in trouble for that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that world championships and all sorts of stuff you could do fantasy and sports betting. But yeah, our focus is fantasy. We are doing fantasy, not crossing into sports betting
Volleyball.
yet. Volleyball, we actually do. There's a pro league, the AVP. They start in May, and we will have them on our site.
And baseball, softball.
Baseball, there is no pro baseball league, but there is the softball, NPF, National Pro Fast Pitch. They've partnered with us for this year, so we are their official
nice.
fantasy provider. Yeah.
Man, you're slaying it with all of your partnerships.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's it really is exciting, I think, for people in the industry. So we're excited to bring it to the forefront.
And I'm sure they want the recognition too. And you seem pretty passionate about it. So why not?
Yeah.
It's cool.
I appreciate that. I hope I come across as passionate.
No,
I really
you do.
am.
It's-
Yeah.
You're
Oh, yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Partner, part sports fan.
you mentioned a couple of the leagues, and when I was doing some research on that, DraftKings, and then the other one is FanDuel. But when you and I were talking before the show started, I was sharing with you, it says it's a $1 billion valuation of the company. And what was the statistic that you told me? It was like $3 billion?
It's a $3 billion industry, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 biggest companies for daily fantasy sports. ESPN and Yahoo are big for like the season-long friends and family stuff. But yeah, 59 million people play, so that's like 1 in 5 people.
Is it
2
more
and 6,
common
so-
in the United States, or is it also something that's global?
Great question. It is global. Actually, huge numbers of people in India play cricket, fantasy cricket.
Who knew?
Okay.
Yep.
Cricket. I don't even know what that looks like.
It's like a little
square.
stick and a paddle, and you
Yeah.
throw the ball. Well, it's not a ball.
It's kind of like highlight,
it's
but
heavy.
not really. So
I don't know the correct terminology. It's like they do like a fun skip when
Yeah.
they throw it too. It looks like baseball, but then they have wickets, so it's like croquet. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you have to like
I don't know
knock
the
the
rules.
stick down. I guess that's how you get out, by
And you
knocking the sticks
run
down.
Back and
obviously,
forth.
we do not play this game in
No,
the
I
United
do not play.
States. So that's why we sound.
I
like
had
we
a
don't know what
neighbor,
we're
and
talking
when I
about.
lived in the subdivision, my neighbors would go out and play cricket all the time in like the little.
Where are they from?
India.
Okay.
It's huge, but like, there's a site so our software company that we work with, I was just asking them last night, they've got one that had 100,000 people on their app.
Wow.
Playing. And I think it's getting bigger in China. Soccer, like, football, as it is known worldwide, that's pretty big, especially European. So
they love football.
They do.
The Orlando soccer team is actually starting to get a lot of buzz, and people are going to the games and tailgating and all that stuff too.
Yeah, the men just had their home opener, and they tied. Women start April 19th. Everyone should go to the game, April 19th.
Okay. I hear the tailgates are really fun.
Yeah, well, I know that they're all packed into that little area downtown, and I see tons of people all dressed in the appropriate attire, purple and
the
gold.
Purple, yep.
Yep,
and Wall Street usually does block parties during the games.
Mm-hmm. They are just walking in droves down to that stadium. Yeah. So I think I'll have to go and try it. I think you mentioned that there was a game that was coming up and possibly being able to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I'm in.
You're going to a game?
I don't know when it is, but yes.
Get you some purple. We'll go.
She's telling me that there's a game. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Look, I will just say that the best player to ever play women's football plays for Orlando.
Really?
Marta. She's the best to ever play, and she deserves everyone to fill that stadium to see her play because she's amazing. So
I don't know. Maybe there's a chance she might come on our show for Women's History Month.
Marta, we're shouting you out. We're looking for you.
Yeah, we're just gonna put it out there. I don't know. Maybe you can make that introduction. That'd be awesome.
I wish I could meet her.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. So statistics, all of these fun statistics about female fantasy sport fans, that there's over 17, now you can tell me how accurate these are, because this is from 2017. Over 17 million women play fantasy football. I cannot even believe that, because I'm going, I didn't know.
Like football, American football, or soccer?
Fantasy
American
football.
Okay.
American football.
NFL, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Really?
Yeah, because if you get into it with your partner, your friends. I've been working in restaurants for forever. It's like a huge deal, sign-ups and all that, trying to get into
true.
leagues.
You probably know based on like those times when there's football games in there.
I just don't like losing money, so I never want to play.
Okay.
You can come on our site. It's free.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe just to learn and then see if I like it, then start throwing myself out there.
I think that's a good idea, because certainly I like to go to football games and soccer games. I'm more of a people watcher than watching the
game.
sports.
You're like, who's over there screaming instead of looking?
Because I'm not as invested in that. But you know what? You guys are turning me. So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go and try your app.
It's different when you're there, too, at the game. Like the energy and everyone getting hype about it. You kind of like feel like you're in it for the minute.
Yeah, I would agree. But that's a pretty sizable statistic, 17 million. Do you know if that's accurate still? It's like here we are 3 years later, so I'm going to guess it's got to be bigger.
Yeah,
you told me one of the statistics, women comprise 45% of the NFL viewing audience. You said that just went up as of today.
Yeah, they just released it as 47%, which I think was... It was a big number of
2% increase. I think that it's, edging in on that 50%. That says a lot that women really do like sports.
Well, and also for women's sports, men are, it's almost split half and half of who watches, who invests in women's sports. So, I think the myth that women don't like men's sports, men don't like women's sports is totally false.
Totally. Kobe was huge in building women's sports and working with his daughter with that. So hopefully the family can keep that going.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm pretty sure that'll be a legacy that they'll leave for him.
Yeah.
And he has other daughters, so yeah.
And Kevin Durant is a huge proponent for the WNBA. Steph Curry. I mean, people are definitely starting to give the respect that it deserves. It's amazing though. You'll get on Twitter and still, the one picture that will just forever be burned in my mind, Diana Taurasi. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of her, but she's like the best basketball player ever in the country.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's called White Mamba. But I remember a picture of, like a video game controller, and she, has all these awards, whatever, and some guy put out, well, this is the game she should be playing. And it's like, A, go make a sandwich. B, go do the laundry.
Oh.
And she's been a professional athlete for, 10 plus. I mean, it's just amazing that all the stuff they still have to go through, the respect that's not given. I think they're finally getting it. And I think that men being fans is crucial to that.
Yeah.
They're still the ones making the decisions on what goes on TV and what gets put on streaming. But yeah.
Sure.
It's,
Wow,
Yes.
that is just really disrespectful.
Old
but maybe
men at
that's
that.
how. Now, who was the guy that did this? Was he a?
Oh, I don't know who it is. Just some Twitter
Stupid
troll.
Twitter
probably.
Okay,
troll.
so it wasn't like somebody really famous.
Oh,
because
gosh.
I'm
No,
going,
they make fake
does he-
pages to troll
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah, because I was going, if that was somebody famous, they had to have been dropped from their contracts. People don't put up with that kind of stuff anymore.
Not anymore. They're definitely starting to, like, I think a sportscaster just got put on leave or whatever for comments he made about a college gymnastics team, talking about their looks. And yeah, it's just past time of, let's talk about their athletic ability. Let's talk about, the records they hold, their, the good that they do in the community. Let's stop talking about, oh, they look good in that outfit. And, so
Yeah, I agree.
hopefully it's changing.
So why do women join these leagues?
It's really interesting. I've actually been a part of some webinars about women who want to learn fantasy sports to be a part of their company camaraderie, that they feel left
That's
out.
interesting.
Yeah.
Part of the company culture.
Yep. So they feel like they're missing out on bonding with their coworkers or, being in the know. And so Smith College is actually leading a webinar this spring even about that, how people can learn and be involved and take part.
I need to go to there.
Me too.
Yeah, I can send you the link. But,
Send us the link.
Yeah, I recorded a video for it and stuff, which is really neat that they gave me the opportunity. But yeah, I mean, I think for fans of women's leagues, whether it's women or not, and that is something that on our site we want everyone to come play. It's not just for women to come play on the site. It's just about women's sports leagues. But men are certainly welcome to come play. But I think there is that community aspect of, not so much maybe I want to win a lot of money from this, although we're building things that people can do that with. But it's the community. It's another way to feel like I know this league, I know these players, I can connect with other fans. I do think that that's important and something that we're trying to build on our website.
The community is huge too. Back to the restaurant. They throw like watch parties, a little fantasy league, and most of the people, when I'm like talking, seeing why they're all together, they're like a random people who are just a part of the league and out hanging out, getting to like do the draft together and watching the games and all that. So I think that's cool. Make some extra friends.
There's actually, real quick story if I've got time.
Yeah.
I've been the commissioner of my family's fantasy football league for like the last, I don't know how many years.
Okay, when you say commissioner, like that's a real title,
She is
right?
in charge. Got to come through her.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I set all the rules and everything, but now I just kind of make sure we do it every year. But we were doing trophies for the first time, a first place trophy and then a last place trophy.
That's cool.
And I was going to pick them up, and this was locally, and a woman said that there's a group here in Orlando that's been doing fantasy baseball, I believe, for 30 years.
Wow.
And now what was a trophy that they still bring in, and they get little nameplates, but they have a sit-down catered dinner at the end of the season and give out awards, and like spouses are invited to come.
That's
I mean, it's
huge.
like a fun thing to be a part of. And that's kind of what their dues go towards, I think. Like, if you want to be in the league, you have to pay. Part of it goes to that party.
Which is fair.
I didn't even think okay, now we're talking about 30 years ago. I'm going, there was no internet, or how were people playing fantasy sports without that? But they were.
They
So
were
it's very
using the
popular.
newspaper. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just blowing my mind. There
Oh,
too.
like tracking on an.
Yeah, so they would take stats. So they would, for baseball, they would fill out, I want this pitcher, these outfielders, these hitters, whatever. And then they'd take the newspaper and tally up. Someone would be in charge of tallying up points per person, and they'd have these huge whiteboards or, whatever the case may be. And
just like the bookies when you see those in the movies.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
That's exactly.
Ooh, that's hard.
And even before ESPN and Yahoo started doing online brackets, I mean, I remember when I was in middle school, the newspaper did a bracket, and we would all cut it out, and we'd fill it out, and you'd keep it in your Trapper Keeper and update it as games went on. So
Nice.
it's been around for a bit of time.
This has been really educational for me because I'm going, wow, did not know that. So aside from being able to support one another in the community and having a bonding experience in the workplace, I would think some of it is also the reason why people join, we'll say people, but, women, is because they like the competition, because, women that have played sports, whether it was in high school, college, or intramural sports, afterwards, they still enjoy that. Previous athletes.
Definitely, right?
Yeah. And just anybody that loves sports in general. But, I had not thought about the camaraderie side of it. So that's another good side of it.
Yeah, the trash talking, the good times afterward, all of it, yeah.
That's the best part of sports, I think.
Yeah, your mama.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So the regulations, I know we touched on that, but there's an organization called the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, PASPA, that was created, I guess, in 2018, not created then, but the federal Supreme Court struck down one of those rulings about the status of fantasy sports in Florida. So are there any regulations here in Florida that we have to know about? Because according to my research, it says it's really kind of unclear here in Florida what those might be. We have horse racing, we have dog racing, we have highlights. So I'm gonna.
They still do that?
Yeah.
They shut the dog track down in Tampa.
Oh,
Once
yeah.
all
They
that.
just move it around here in Orlando, so you can't figure out where it is. But
Got it.
yeah, they have it.
Yeah, it was a huge thing closer to Busch Gardens, and they shut it down once all the activists and the protests and all of that.
Yeah, chasing either the real rabbit or the fake rabbit.
They would put a ball or something on their head,
Oh my goodness!
and then when they were running the track, the ball would move across the track while they were running straight.
Wow.
I never been, but
I know it was on our ballot last year.
It was.
Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to go any soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
horse
Anyway.
racing is huge.
Yeah, it is. Well, there used to be a place where you could do that in Orlando. It was over there by Lee Road and OBT, I think. Maybe not in that area, but Lee Road for sure, in the Winter Park area. And they shut those tracks down. I don't know where they went.
Nowhere. People don't want you to hurt the animals anymore.
Well, I don't know if it's hurtful, but, they're running.
Because the way they're being trained and all of that,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
there's
no,
a-
I
it's
have
not
seen
like
that.
a loving condition that they're in. They're just there to make people money.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff. Anyway, so regulations, I know you talked about it. Anything else that you think that our listeners should know about regulating this as a sport?
Yeah, so I know that there was an act in 2006 that's what specified fantasy sports are not gambling. There is that certain amount of skill, and that has to be a part of the game because that determines legality of what state it can be in. Also, payment processors. I mean, we're not touching gambling or anything like that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, there's a website that I follow that, every day, every week, they're updating the latest, status of legality of fantasy sports. Again, the daily fantasy sports, which is DraftKings and FanDuel, those are the ones that in 9 states you can't have it at all. And then others you have to pay licensing fees. I do think Florida's kind of still a gray area in that. But every month it's updating and changing and laws are being passed. So,
Have you been to Vegas yet and played any leagues?
so I have, yeah.
You
But
sound
that
like a
was more
serious player
sports.
now.
I watch a lot of
Sports betting.
documentaries
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Hey.
Yeah, I have. I actually love Las Vegas, and so the last couple times I was out there, I did this. It was sports betting though, but I bet on football and
and you sat in the
Yeah,
theater.
It's the nicest place to be in a
It was
casino.
fancy. I
The
was
sports
watching it.
books are they're the comfiest seats. You can still get drinks or whatever.
Yeah.
They're pretty nice.
And it's like you're at the game. There's like 100 TVs all around you. You can watch like 10, 20 games, however much you sign up for.
Oh, wow.
And you go collect your money when you're done.
Yep.
Turn
How
in your
much
ticket.
money have you won, Johnny?
None at all. But
Okay, but you're talking like somebody
I'm telling you,
who does
it's
this.
only it's because of my friends.
Okay.
One
but
friend, I won't say his name, but
how much money did that friend
ooh,
win?
he likes to spend a lot of money in
Okay, we know
fantasy.
it's a he.
It is a he.
Yeah.
He spends a lot of money, and whenever he wins, shots on him Sunday.
What's the biggest amount of money he's won that you know of?
The latest I've heard was like $2,000 on one
Oh, wow.
game.
He spent $2,000.
He spent 2,000. No, he was down like 5.
5,000.
He was
On
down
betting or
5
fantasy?
on. I think it's betting.
Okay.
Think it's betting because there's like an app and you're going through and clicking who you want to win and all that. And it's really complicated. You have to be like up 6 or down by 5 just to win. I don't know.
Right, the line that they make.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it
now
would be
look at
betting.
Steve. He's shaking his head.
That's
yes
the
over
part
there.
I'm confused
Yeah.
about. Like, what do you mean you need to be up 5 just to
I don't know, Steve.
win?
So those are
Shed any
those are
light here?
lines people make.
Uh-huh.
So those are not like, again, we were talking about the stats earlier. So
Right.
fantasy relies on stats. Betting is more like the lines that people make and create for each game or each player or whatnot like that. So there's
Okay.
actually an outside person creating those odds.
What's that movie Adam Sandler just did? It was a
Oh, Uncut Gems. Yeah.
Uncut Gems. That movie was intense.
Oh.
But that
But
was
he's a
betting.
bookie, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was paying money to bookies and he had like a jewelry shop. It was like fronting all the money through that. But that's betting, not fantasy, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can spend money like DraftKings and FanDuel. You can get on their website or app and say, I want to enter this contest and that's $1 or it's $20 or it's $10,000 to enter this contest. And then if you win, you get that plus extra back. That does exist. But yeah, I think what you're talking about is more the betting. Because that is still, if you enter those contests for fantasy, you're still filling out the roster. You're still picking 5 to 9 players.
Okay.
That, based on how they do and how high up you are in the leaderboard is how much money you get back.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm learning now. Maybe. See,
I don't know. You
I
may be
catch
placing
in
some
time
bets.
for March Madness.
There you go. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
does know enough,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. But I think Steve's the one that's the quiet one that we need to go, oh,
He's the one who said he's been playing.
Yeah.
What
so,
leagues are you in right now?
I just play fantasy football.
Okay.
Basketball's too much for me.
What
Yeah,
do you
that's
mean?
a lot of
Basketball, there are a
games.
lot of games.
Basketball.
Play like every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
lot
wow.
of games.
Do we need to worry and have an intervention or anything? Okay. Yeah.
Not
But
yet.
You've got it under
I
control.
will say this. So NBA is a huge market for fantasy. And actually a lot of people have jumped to the WNBA because it was newer. Not as many people are in it. I think one of the big issues with DraftKings and FanDuel is if you're a beginner or even a moderate player, you can get on there and just, they call them sharks. You can just be eaten up by a shark. So someone who, they have all, I mean, it's crazy. They have all these algorithms on how to set rosters and they spend so much money to put all these rosters up that at the end of the day, they make money. But the way they do that is by taking it from all these beginners who maybe put up one roster. And so new leagues and like our site, which is totally new and going to block people from being able to do that kind of algorithm stuff.
Steal and cheat.
Well, I mean, technically it's legal on those sites, but like it would make me nervous to put any money towards that.
Right.
So, a lot of people are trying out new leagues. And so the fact that we're opening up at 14 to 17 new leagues for some of those people who love the fantasy sport game, now they have like new leagues to explore. And there are no experts so far right now on this because it's brand new. So they could become the expert, but
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny, we're going to take a little break. Go ahead and do our next patron announcement.
Alrighty, let's jump into it. Omnimodal is helping smart cities connect all commuters across all modes of transportation move into the future. Omnimodal, their website is omnimodal.io, And thank you, Omnimodal, for being a patron of the Intern Whisperer Live.
Back to our show. Our show is all about the future of jobs and industries and remembering that we are all in transition, someone that gave us a chance. So what do you think, we're going to finish this up, what do you think the future of fantasy sports looks like 10, 20 years from now? Because I pulled that statistic also, and this is a lot of people, and you've already told me more than 32 million are playing. So
yeah, so currently I think the last stat was 59.3 million people play fantasy sports. And what's really neat for what we're doing is that apart from the WNBA, that's all men's leagues. Mm-hmm. And so women are starting and going to be able to hopefully make that climb and get to that level. I think that there is a lot of shift to sports betting as that becomes more legal. A lot of people are going to shift there because just for a company, the ability to make money is going to be endless there. So it's going to be really interesting. My hope is that in 10 years, fantasy sports is as big a business for women's leagues as it is currently for men's. Mm-hmm. The fun of watching a game and playing fantasy sports is going to be equal. So I think that it'll hopefully have a big name in the industry and have helped create more awareness.
She plays. That'll be the name in the industry.
There we go.
She plays.
She plays.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to continue evolving, and more people are coming up with different games and different ways for people to engage and have fun, and so I think it's definitely going to still be around, and people are going to play it for free for fun, or play it to try to make some money. I don't think that's any time in the future stopping. So,
Agreed. So you have interns, and our show is about interns. So what does a typical day look like for an intern that works with She Plays?
Yeah, we have 4 wonderful interns that have started with us this spring. And I know, so Thursdays are our days that we come together and we meet at Starter Studio. So another shout out to Starter Studio. But they come in and we have a joint meeting all together. Because we do want to have that family vibe of we're doing this together.
You're a team.
Yeah, and I mean they're kind of the first team locally that we're building, and so it's really neat to have them be a part. And they do all sorts of stuff. There's graphic design, social media, audio engineer, and video / on-air talent is what we've got some fun ideas for the rest of the semester.
On-air talent.
Yeah, hopefully doing like a 5-minute YouTube show every week just about fantasy sports for women's leagues. So kind of what games are coming up this next week, who to watch out for, all that stuff. So
a little newsreel.
Yeah.
That would help a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure with like the other games going on, if even you just knew that a women's game was about to be played, turn on the TV.
Yeah.
Pull up the app.
I can tell he really, really likes this industry a lot.
I get jealous when people are winning money and I'm there at the bar listening to them scream the whole time. I feel invested. So I'm like thinking about it.
Now I'm thinking, man, I have to come and see you in action at the restaurant now.
I get really invested.
I gotta give you a bunch of business cards and just slide them to your
There you
customers.
go.
Hey,
Come
here's
have the
a
watch
new-
party.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so the best mentor advice that you ever received from somebody, what was it?
Gosh, and I've been able to have some great mentors. I think one would be, is this as far as like as an intern or like as a...
No, it can be open to any interpretation. Mentors are important regardless. We're all in transition, whether we're an intern or we're somebody that's going back to work from being at home as a stay-at-home mom, or a senior that's going back to work. It's transitions. It's all good. So mentoring comes in all forms.
Yeah. So I would say to ask for help. I think that's probably been the best advice I've ever been given of don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
It doesn't show weakness. It doesn't show that you're incapable of doing a task. It actually shows that you don't want to screw it up by trying it the first time and being all wrong. So never being afraid to ask for help and over communicating. I don't know.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Yep.
It takes a village.
Yeah, I had that conversation today with one of my interns. I said, you have to get comfortable with making mistakes and realize it's not going to be perfect. So we can rarely control perfection. That takes like practice to get so good that it becomes something that is what we deem as perfect, I guess I would say. How can our listeners contact you, find you? What's the website?
Wait, before we go there, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Being a sports lover, Ashley, what do you think about women stepping into the coaching role?
That's a good question.
I think it's absolutely necessary. I think if you look at what Katie Sowers did, being the first female coach in the NFL or in the Super Bowl, was massive.
Her commercial is everywhere now.
And it's amazing.
It's cool.
Right? But, anyone who, female athletes, one, it's just great that they have, after college, they now have choices, right? Because 20, 30 years ago, that didn't exist. But now, when they retire, okay, let's have still a future in the sports world if they want it. I think for basketball, men's college basketball, 99% of the jobs are for men. And women's basketball, it's 50%, or it's almost half, if not more so, men than women are coaches.
Wow.
So, and neither one, if women should be able to coach women should be able to coach men. I just think it's definitely a place that we need to improve. And I think that it will improve, but I just think it's awesome. And there are different ways that women coaches can speak to female athletes, maybe understand what they've been going through. If you're good at what you do, you should be able to coach whoever. Doesn't matter what gender you are. Yeah. So, but I would love to see more. I think people are making the right moves. Muffet McGraw is a Notre Dame basketball coach, and she has said she will only hire women as her assistants for the next, just so that she can train them up so they can go out and be head coaches.
Have the experience.
Yeah. So
pay it forward.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of that needs to happen. I don't think if you're a male and you're a good coach, then you should have a job. But there is a little bit of, okay, we gotta give give women the opportunity.
Right.
All right. So we're at the end of the show, but how do people find She Plays? What's your website, your social channels, all of that good stuff?
Yes. So we are she-plays.com.
Okay.
And on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at She Plays Pro.
Gotcha. YouTube?
YouTube, we do have a YouTube channel. It's got our how-to videos right now.
Okay.
But hopefully coming to you with some newsreel, upcoming fantasy games. We're hoping that that'll happen in the near future.
She Plays is free, right?
Free to sign up.
Free to sign up. That's an incentive.
That's all I keep hearing in my head.
All right. So we want to tell Valencia College thank you so much for letting us be on this campus. They must have been doing a tour because that window behind Steve and Ayana has been swimming.
I felt famous for a second. I was like, where
they
are we
all
at?
Like looking in, watching the show. Everybody's like, I don't know if you saw them.
I didn't.
It was like real distracting to a little bit because like people are popping in and going, hey, and I'm going, all right, do I know you? Are you trying to get in here? Anyway, thanks to Valencia College. I did see Q here on the studio site tonight. He was right outside that window and he waved to us. And I think maybe, Johnny, that's why everything worked beautifully.
Q came, showed his presence.
Yeah, he was here. It's his day off, but Q was here.
Besides all my bloopers today, I probably have a what?
No, we don't have any. We're good.
Just me.
No, we're good. We have none. That's what the magic of editing is all about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Besides Facebook Live, you guys get the inside scoop.
That's true, but we will have the magic of editing. Okay. Knowledgeable staff, again, thank you, Q. And we're going to do our shout-out. So really quick, Johnny, shout-out.
Shout-out. I've met actually like 3 or 4 sports management majors recently, and they're all women. So I think that's really cool to know that actually women are interested in sports and wanting to work in the sports industry. So shout out to y'all ladies.
Okay, Sharon.
I guess shout out to Ashley for joining us because it's really opened my eyes to something that I could do as a pastime.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice. Ashley, your shout-out.
Yeah, I'd love to shout out Actually Started Studio. So
there you go.
Another shameless plug, but the mentors and the camaraderie I have there is pretty epic. So thank you. And shout out to Orlando Pride. Everyone go to the home opener April 19th. Marta, come on this podcast.
Yep. And so my shout out goes to everybody that's in the studio here. Thank you to Ayan and Steve. They're over there being very quiet, but they are a mighty presence in the room. They make all of this video stuff look great. And then to Johnny and to Sharon, and then also over here to you, Ashley, and to our listeners and our followers. Thank you so much, you guys. Hey, we need your help. We need you to go and like and give us reviews on your favorite podcast channel, and also start giving us some reviews and sharing the shows. If you would do that, we would absolutely appreciate it. Again, you can find Intern Pursuit on their Facebook, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and then on any of the Intern Whisperer is on any of your favorite podcast channels. So thank you for watching and listening to the show. So take us out, Johnny.